You don't need to prove your worth to anyone who can't see it. You don't need to chase someone just to remind them you exist, because the moment you start begging for crumbs of attention, you forget that you were born to feast at the table of love and certainty. There's a reason you're exhausted. You're not tired from doing too much. You're tired from giving too much to the wrong people, from investing your energy in relationships that ask everything and offer nothing, from holding space for people who never ask if you're okay. And somewhere along the way, someone convinced you that if you were just enough, if you were prettier, funnier, more patient, more agreeable, then maybe they'd stay. Maybe they'd finally choose you. But what no one told you is that trying to be chosen by someone who doesn't value you is like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in it. No matter how much you give, it will never feel full. You are not the problem. You were just playing a part in a story that wasn't written for you. You keep trying to make things work with people who don't meet you halfway. You carry the emotional load, initiate the conversations, keep the peace, send the texts, apologize first, sacrifice your boundaries, all for the hope that they might one day see your worth. But here's the truth. People who cannot love you the way you deserve will keep taking from you as long as you allow it. They don't leave because you're hard to love. They leave because they cannot meet the standard of love you hold. So let them go, let them walk away, and when they do, don't chase. Don't try to convince someone of your value. Don't rewrite your worth based on someone else's inability to recognize it. That heartbreak, that moment of silence where they stopped calling, stopped checking in, stopped caring, that wasn't rejection, that was a gift. It was the universe saying, here is your space back. Use it for someone who sees you. You don't heal by finding the next person to fill the void. You heal by becoming the person who no longer tolerates the void in the first place. Stop asking what you did wrong. Start asking why you kept giving to someone who never gave back. Because love isn't proven through how much pain you can endure. It's proven through how quickly you walk away from what breaks you. You are not difficult. You are not too much. You are just too real for people who are not ready. And yes, that loneliness will feel unbearable at times. It will whisper lies to you like, maybe they were the best I'll ever have. Or maybe I'll never find someone who understands me like they did. But what if the pain isn't coming from the absence of love, but from the absence of respect? Because when you really look back, it wasn't love that hurt you. It was the moments you betrayed yourself to keep someone who wasn't good for you. The times you said yes, when everything in you screamed no. The times you accepted silence instead of clarity, excuses instead of effort, attention instead of commitment. It's not love you're afraid of losing. It's the fantasy you created about who they could be. Let it go. Real love doesn't confuse you. It doesn't make you question your worth. It doesn't disappear when you need it most. Real love stays. Real love shows up. Real love doesn't make you beg. You have to stop holding the door open for people who walk in and out of your life like it's a hotel. You are not a temporary place. You are a permanent home, and the right person won't need to be convinced to stay. They'll choose you every day, and they'll do it with certainty. You know what's more attractive than bending over backward for someone. Boundaries. Confidence is built the moment you decide, I no longer tolerate what doesn't honor me. And you won't need to announce it. People will feel it. They'll feel it in the way you stop over-explaining. They'll feel it in the silence you hold when someone tries to manipulate you. They'll feel it when you walk away mid-conversation from someone who only reaches out when it's convenient, because your peace is expensive, and not everyone can afford it. This is where it changes. This is where you stop breaking yourself to fit into places that weren't built for you. You've spent enough time hoping for closure that never came, enough time trying to heal in the same place that hurt you. Now it's your turn to rise, not for them, not to prove a point, but because you owe it to yourself. You owe yourself the life you keep dreaming about, the self-worth you pretend you already have, the standards you talk about but rarely enforce. You owe yourself the version of you that doesn't shrink in rooms full of ego, that doesn't apologize for having high expectations, that doesn't fear walking alone if it means walking in truth. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being loved by them. It's about being loved by you. You will find someone who chooses you without hesitation, but you need to become someone who doesn't accept hesitation disguised as love. You will find someone who doesn't get intimidated by your strength. But first, you must stop hiding it to make others feel comfortable. You will find someone who communicates clearly, shows up consistently, and respects your boundaries without making you feel guilty for having them. But before that happens, you have to believe you deserve it, because we don't attract what we want. We attract what we believe we are worthy of. So what are you calling in? Are you calling in another almost, love, another maybe, another person who only shows up when they need something? Or are you calling in someone who sees your soul and says, "This is what I've been looking for"? That shift starts with you. You are not the backup plan. You are not the side option. You are not the emotional crutch for someone else's healing journey. You are the main character in your own story. Stop giving supporting roles to people who can't even remember their lines. Your value is not up for debate. It is not defined by who stays or who goes. It is defined by how fiercely you protect your peace, how courageously you enforce your boundaries, and how deeply you love yourself in a world that constantly asks you to forget your worth. You're not hard to love. You're just asking the wrong people to love you. Let them go. You were not born to be a chapter in someone else's story. You were born to be the author of your own, and the next chapter, it's where everything changes. It's the chapter where you stop waiting for someone to choose you and choose yourself instead. The moment you choose yourself, everything begins to shift, not because the world suddenly becomes easier, but because you stop participating in what drains you. You stop justifying disrespect. You stop mistaking effort for love when effort isn't consistent. You stop tolerating people who can't even meet you where you already are. When you stop trying to prove that you're worthy of love, love finally finds its way to you. But this time, it's not the kind that tears you apart while calling itself passion. It's not the kind that leaves you questioning yourself every night. It's not the kind that disappears when things get hard. It's the kind that stays, the kind that feels like peace. But first, you have to become that peace for yourself. When you find peace in your own company, you're no longer afraid to be alone. And when you're no longer afraid to be alone, you stop settling. You stop saying yes just to fill the silence. You stop giving time to people who only see you as an option. You stop chasing people who stopped choosing you. This isn't about becoming cold. This is about becoming clear. Clear about what you want, clear about what you need, clear about what you deserve. Clarity doesn't come when you keep giving your energy to confusion. Clarity comes when you sit with yourself long enough to remember who you are. You are not someone who begs. You are not someone who settles. You are not someone who gets smaller just to make others feel bigger. And maybe you're still healing. Maybe you're still learning how to be okay on your own. But that healing is not weakness. That healing is your power. That healing is the space between who you were and who you're becoming. Don't rush it. Don't try to numb it. Let it teach you, because healing isn't linear, and self-worth doesn't come from watching one video or reading one quote. It's a choice you make every single day, a choice to show up for yourself when no one else does, a choice to believe in your future more than your past, a choice to stop chasing closure and start chasing growth. And growth is when you stop texting them back even though your heart still misses them. Growth is when you let the phone ring and don't pick up because you remember the nights you cried after every conversation. Growth is when you walk past someone who used to feel like home and realize you're finally okay not going back. It takes strength to walk away. It takes even more strength to stay away. but the strongest thing you'll ever do is decide that your peace is more important than their potential. Potential doesn't build relationships, effort does, consistency does, communication does, respect does, and you should never have to convince someone to do those things for you. You're allowed to want more. You're allowed to hold high standards. You're allowed to say, "This isn't enough for me," and walk away without guilt, because if something doesn't feel like love, it's not. Love isn't guessing. Love isn't sometimes. Love isn't almost. It's clarity, it's effort, it's safe, it's secure, and if you haven't felt that yet, keep walking, keep healing, keep choosing yourself even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. There will come a day when someone sees everything about you, the scars, the strength, the softness, the depth, and chooses you not in spite of those things, but because of them. They'll show up, they'll listen, they'll care, but before they arrive, you need to be the person who doesn't wait to be chosen to feel whole, because the right person can add to your life, but they should never be the reason you finally feel worthy. That's your job, and the more you love yourself, the less interested you'll be in proving your worth to others. You'll stop explaining your boundaries. You'll stop begging for the bare minimum. You'll stop giving people second, third, fourth chances to disappoint you. You'll see their first red flag as a final answer because you've learned, you've been through enough to know what patterns look like. You've suffered enough to know what peace feels like. You've ignored your intuition enough times to finally trust it. And that's growth. Growth isn't about never falling again. It's about getting up faster. It's about spotting the storm before it destroys your peace. It's about loving yourself so fiercely that anything less feels foreign. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are not here to fit into someone else's mold of who you should be. You are here to be real, to be whole, to be deeply loved, starting with yourself. And when you begin to operate from that place, everything changes. You won't settle for texts at midnight and disappearances by morning. You won't beg someone to choose you while they string you along. You won't feel anxious every time your phone rings, wondering if you said too much, asked for too much, felt too much. You'll know your worth, and you'll guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Every time you betray yourself, you lose a piece of your soul, and every time you honor yourself, you get that piece back. It's time to take it all back. Your power, your voice, your standards, your peace, because the world needs you whole, not in pieces, not waiting to be fixed, not searching for someone else to complete you. The truth is, no one can love you deeper than you're willing to love yourself. No one can respect you more than you respect your own boundaries. No one can show up for you more than you show up for yourself every single day. So start today. Show up for yourself in small ways. Say no when you mean it. Rest when you're tired. Walk away when you're disrespected. Speak your truth even when your voice shakes, because that's the version of you that attracts what's real. You don't need to hustle for love. You don't need to beg to be seen. You don't need to perform to be valued. You just need to be aligned with your truth. You just need to protect your energy. You just need to remind yourself daily that being loved starts with how deeply you love your own soul. And if you ever forget, just look at how far you've come. Remember the nights you cried yourself to sleep and still got up the next day. Remember the moments you chose silence over reaction, peace over drama, solitude over chaos. Remember how many times you've rebuilt yourself when the world gave you nothing but broken pieces. You're not fragile, you're a force, and you didn't come this far just to return to a version of you that had to beg for love. So breathe, stand tall, reclaim your light, because the next time someone comes into your life, they won't meet the version of you that doubts her worth. They'll meet the version of you that says, "I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not afraid to eat alone."